I'm Kevin Eggleston, and I want to speak to you regarding issues that we're presently dealing with here at Lane County Jail. My first issue is a problem that I've had with one of your deputy sheriffs. It was a Sheriff Galwith. Um, Whenever we have a problem with our food, we're supposed to bring it to the officer's attention. Um, 2 weeks ago, we got cake. It had black mold in it, and we smelled it, and it smelled for a minute, and it smelled like it was baked with wine or whiskey, but there was black mold in it. And as of 3 days ago, actually the 1st of August, we also got bread, and the bread it was like cut in half, and it seemed as if it had been bitten off of. Whenever we have food that is in question, we have to return it to the deputy in exchange for other food. Well, there was others who went up and they exchanged their food, but when I came up, the officer refused to exchange my food. I don't know what the difference was between me and the other gentleman that was exchanging their food, other than the color of our skin. But he refused, and his excuse was he was in the kitchen when they made my bread. He wasn't in the kitchen when they made their bread, so he exchanged their bread for them, but he wouldn't exchange mine. I went as far as to pull out a grievance regarding this issue, as well as sent a letter to the Office of Professional Standards, because he may not say this was a discriminatory person, but the action that he did was biased, I felt, and that's what it was regarding Deputy Galwith. Another issue that I wanted to bring up was the diversity training, and this falls under the issue with Deputy Galwith. If he had proper diversity training, I wouldn't be here making this video asking you to give certain officers, deputies, diversity training. Sometimes they might make these errors like that unknown to themselves. They might think it's natural because they've done it for a long time, but don't understand that they might be hurting someone else. Their actions are hurtful to other people. And that's what I'm saying about the diversity training. My next issue I would like for your attention on is the bail here at Lane County Jail. Pretrial services, they do a job. They're employed under the district attorney's office, and as well, they impose an excessive amount of bail for the inmates. They're employed by the state of Oregon, as well as the DA. They all work for the state, and they all have the same alternative. And they want to keep us in jail, and this is why they impose the excessive amounts. If you're a U of O college student and you happen to come to jail, you're probably going to lose your schooling because of this excessive amount of jail that you can't get out, that you can't pay, or they're going to try to squeeze your parents out of what little money they have, trying to send the student through school. If you're a working man with a family at home and they know that you're working, they're going to try to keep you, because this is what I see. They're going to try to squeeze what little money they can from you in order so you can go home and take care of your family and get back to your job, because more than likely, if you continue to stay in jail, you're going to lose your job. So they know you're going to fight to try to get out of jail. As opposed to a homeless person who comes in off the street, detoxing from dope and drugs and alcohol, who only needs 3 hots and a cot, in which they're kicked right back out the door, because they know they're not making money from them. again, when they come in, when the homeless do come in, detoxing from drugs, some of them tend to kick their doors. And this takes me to my next issue I want to bring up to who's out there listening to my message. It's the emergency alert systems that they have here at Lane County Jail. Emergency alert system here is non-existent. Uh, if one of the inmates in the single cells should fall out, pass out, and or having any kind of medical emergency, the emergency alert system is to kick the door as hard as you can and yell and scream and try to get the officer's attention. Well, if you're screaming and you're yelling, trying to get the officer's attention, this is something that you can't do because you're medically incapacitated. You're medically vulnerable to COVID. If you pass out, there's no way you're going to get the officer's response. Number one is because they know when inmates come in, some of them are disgruntled, some of them are detoxing, and they kick the door out of spite of being arrested. It's just one of those things, okay? They're trained to ignore that. How would they know from inmate 1 to inmate 2 which one is having a medical emergency or which one is kicking the door out of spite? So if there's an inmate having a medical emergency, he's probably going to die. And I really hope that they hold the jail, the sheriff, the county, and the state of Oregon accountable for their wrongful deeds. Pretrial detention is like a death sentence because the inmates are stuck in here for no reason at all. They're held past their 60 days 60-day pretrial release. Fast and speedy trial. Or it's pushed back. And because it's pushed back, the inmate should be able to be released on his own recognizances. If we're going to use the COVID-19 as an excuse to push the trial backwards, then the COVID-19 should be a good excuse for the inmate to be released on his own recognizances that he come back. Be it that he will come back. If he don't, then that's a problem that he has to face when he does come back. The workers' strike. And this is one thing that I feel that we should do as inmates, and this is going to hold the sheriff, the hierarchy here at Lane County Jail, even as far as the governor, is no work, no canteen, strike on the jail. I feel us as inmates, we're the one who's really got this jail functioning. We clean the hallways, we feed people, we cook in the kitchen, we give out the clothes for nothing. You pay us nothing except for an extra tray. You treat us like dogs. And number two, this is for nothing. They might get a day off for every 3 or 4 days that they work, but and that's only on special circumstances. If you're in here on a probation violation, parole violation, you're still going to do day for day. And this is really the message that I'm trying to convey. And maybe getting the message out that maybe we should get out signatures that could get some of our elected officials started impeachment, formal impeachment on some of our elected officials, starting with the hierarchy here at Lane County Jail. Because if you're going to treat us like this, then we have to strike back. And I'm not saying in a violent way, no violence at all, but we have to let you know that we mean business. And this is a message that I really want you guys to understand, that this is our game plan. This is my game plan, as well as many others here. Many of them that don't have the message, but it'll come around eventually. As well as the beds here. The mattresses are dilapidated. There are no pillows for the beds. The price gouging on the commissary is another reason why we want some kind of reform. A 25-cent, 30-cent soup, you buy it. The local grocery store costs $1.30 here. $1.18 here. The price gouging here is ridiculous. We have to have some kind of reform. Due process violations and the grievance procedures. That's another issue that we want to bring up. But nobody wants to sit down and talk to us and try to figure out some type of reform. This is one reason why the district attorney's conviction rate is so high. They torture the Long County Jail tortures the inmates so roughly that the inmates are ready to strike any kind of deal with the district attorney just to get out of custody of Lane County Jail. This I know because I've been in that position before, and they say they would rather be upstate than sitting here because of the torture, because of the poor food, because of the poor treatment, because of the lack of training in diversity, and these are some of the things that I want to bring to the attention of the hierarchy. And most of our trials are not fair. I went through that. There was, a matter of fact, the trial that I went through back in 2016, in which the judge instructed the jury that they could convict me on a non-unanimous guilty verdict, in which was a violation of my 14th Amendment right, was wrong. The impartiality of the judge, in which he was an ex district attorney, in which he was partiality to the DA, in which got me in trouble. And I thank you for your time and your attention. Please look at us and help me with this cause. Thank you so much, and goodbye.